Hello everyone. This is another episode of Mashable Pakistan Lab, and today's podcast we are featuring the team of Bayfikr. We have two of their founders, Ali and Rasim. So this is a startup which focuses on the entrance of in the remittance market. We have other solutions, but they are unique in their own way. Today we will discuss how they are different and how they are trying to create an impact in Pakistan's remittance market. So I'll start with you, Mr. Ali. If you can briefly describe what Bayfikr is and the thought behind it, how would you describe Bayfikr to a Pakistani?
Yeah, thank you for that, Amar. So Rasim and I are Pakistanis. We've been residing abroad for over a decade now, and we've been sending money through traditional routes to Pakistan. And then we realized there's a lot of excess costs and inefficiencies involved in the process. A lot of the money
Okay.
which normal people like you and me send to Pakistan are primarily used for household expenses such as utility bills, school fees, hospital
Mhm.
fees. And if someone like me has to send money to Pakistan, someone from my family has to physically go to a bank to collect the money, then pay the bill. So it's just a cumbersome process, especially now in COVID times. You don't want your loved ones to go out, right? So
Yeah.
we came up with the idea that why not give a value added remittance service to Pakistanis, wherein they can pay their hospital fees, school fees, and utility bills directly by their foreign accounts. So that minuses out a lot of the extra steps involved in the money sending process.
Okay, okay. So that's the basic thought behind it. So my next question is to the other founder, Mr. Rasim. So we obviously, just to extend the previous answer, we have other solutions like Western Union, MoneyGram, right? TransferWise. There are a couple of others as well. So how would you try to compete with them and differentiate your ways of sending remittance and just so the overseas Pakistani can make domestic payments easy? How would you do that?
So essentially, we have one mission, and that is to make the lives of overseas Pakistanis and their families easier. What we've
Okay.
allowed is, or what our solution allows, is to make overseas Pakistanis, or to empower overseas Pakistanis to pay their home country utility bills or school or hospital fees as if they were local payments directly from their international bank account. So they don't actually need to send money, they just basically pay it from their local account.
Okay.
Obviously the remittance market, the Pakistani remittance market is big, especially in COVID times. State Bank initially projected that it was going to be 25 billion, but essentially because of the inflow of remittances or a large inflow of remittances defying all expectations, it has grown to about 28 billion, or it expected to grow to about 28 billion this year. So the market itself
Okay.
is huge, and we don't want to compete with the big boys. What we're doing is that we are providing a service which is complementary to what the big boys are doing. Essentially, focusing on P2P payments, whereas our focus is consumer to business payments, and then obviously P2P payments later on. But we're different in the sense that you can make direct payments to any business in Pakistan, and that gives the remitter control of the money that they send. And it's easier, it's instantaneous, and it's faster. So that's essentially what we want to do. We want to make people time richer so that they spend less time sending money and more time doing the things that they do in their daily lives.
Yeah, so basically what I understand is you guys want to make remittances more convenient, right? Yeah, so
Absolutely.
you're trying to increase the convenience, right?
Absolutely,
That
because
summarizes it up.
currently hota ye, if somebody wants to send money to pay a bill, what do? Like Ali said, they either send the money to somebody via Western Union, and that person then has to go to a bank and collect it, or they can send it to their Pakistani bank account first. So they log into the remittance app. Usually, obviously, it's the modern day, people prefer to use apps, so they send the money from their app to their Pakistani bank account. Then they log into their Pakistani bank account, and then they pay if and only if the bidder is serviced. Whereas what our solution does is, what it allows is for you to remove those steps in the middle, and essentially you just log in, you select the biller you want to pay, and you press pay, and that's it. You'll do it instantly, and you'll do it securely. And this really, to be honest, the value of this is, I'll give you an example. So personally, last year I was paying for I was in Pakistan for my parents' treatment. My father was being treated in the hospital, and I'd forgotten my UK debit card, so I couldn't pay. So essentially, what I had to do was to pay for his hospital fee. I had to first send the money from my UK bank account to my Pakistani account at night. Now I couldn't withdraw that amount of money because it was 2-3 lakh rupees for a couple of days of treatment. So I couldn't withdraw it at night. Then I had to wait for the bank. Obviously, didn't have a Pakistani bank card on me, or the limit wasn't that much. So essentially, I had to wait for the morning, then go to a bank, collect that money, and then pay the hospital. And those hours in which I could not go to the bank were very, very inconvenient and stressful for me. So that's how the solution or the idea of Bayfikr came up with myself and Ali. We said, okay, well, why don't we allow or empower overseas Pakistanis to pay, their parents' hospital bill directly, from their UK account, or if they want to pay for their children's education, then they should be able to log in, enter their student number, and then just press pay, and that's it. Amar, you're on mute.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. So my next question is for Mr. Ali. So let's say if an overseas Pakistani, he wants to use Bayfikr. So what would be the process? Does he has to download an app, or does he has to go to the web portal? And just how is that possible? How would he do that?
Okay, very good question, Amar. So it's a very simple process. So basically, we are making our app, which is called Bayfikr, which is our trade name. You would find this app on Apple Store and Google Play, and you simply download the app, create your profile, sign up. At the sign up stage, we do all our due diligence, so it's fairly quick. And right there you land on the home screen. We have bifurcated billers by categories, so you can find your electricity, schools, hospitals, water. You click on the bills you want. The added advantage which we have added is you can add multiple uh, bills under a single bill. So to elaborate, in Lesco, for example, if you live in Lahore, you can add your parents' house, your sister's house, your brother's house, your children's house. So you can have multiple, segments in that, and then you just click on pay, and that's it. It's a very simple process, and we will be giving incentives out to our users, wherein if they pay a certain amount of bills or they refer people, we'll be giving them discounts going forward. So just to create a one-stop solution for all overseas Pakistanis, really, in a very simple way.
Okay, so what I understand is, so there's an application, right, for a mobile application, right? So will
Correct.
you guys be trying to reach a web portal or a web-based app, or are you just going to focus on mobile apps for now?
Right now, we feel that a lot of the business is done on mobile phones. I mean, I
Okay.
haven't touched my laptop in like 15 days. So I think that's the general practice right now. I think people have shifted towards mobile phone, and it's a lot more convenient, right? I don't have to start my laptop or anything, and all of my our financial information is already held in our phone. So it's very convenient.
Okay, good enough. So yeah, so the next question is for Mr. Rasim.
Amar, just to
Obviously, sorry.
add,
Yeah,
just to
yeah,
add,
please.
Amar, you'd be surprised at how tech savvy, you know, everyone in Pakistan is. I mean, you've seen the latest report, State Bank report on the rise in digital payments, not just in Pakistan.
Yeah,
And
and Russian
essentially,
digital accounts as well. Yeah, of course.
correct. So essentially, 65% of Pakistan's population is less than 35 years old, and these are the people who then actually go abroad. So they are very well versed with how to use technology, how to use phones. From labor class to obviously to white collar workers, they all like to use their phones for for
Yeah.
TikTok or Instagram, essentially. So that's what
Mhm.
we're doing. We're essentially being a mobile only solution for overseas Pakistanis.
Okay, okay, that's good enough. Okay, so obviously this is a new thing, right? This is a new startup, so there must be challenges and there must be hurdles, of course, this hasn't been done before, not in such convenient way. So, if you can just briefly describe what challenges you had to face and how you overcame them over your journey.
I think startup journeys, to be honest, they're not very easy anyway. Whatever startup
Yeah.
you have, but the journey that we launched in March last year, and it's been just over a year that we launched. It's been tough, exciting, and frustrating all at the same time. But the good thing is that it gives you a sense of satisfaction that the product that you're developing is making life easier for the other person, not just ourselves, but obviously the other person as well. Uh, One of the biggest things that we've had faced is that when you're a startup, nobody takes you seriously, because
Yeah.
you reach out to them, you say, hey, listen, we've reached out to a lot of Pakistani banks saying, this is our solution, we'd like to partner with you. And then they're like, yes, that is fine, or you reach out to other corporations, and they're like, oh, okay, fine, this is good, please join the queue. So then you have to wait. But if you are a big boy, if you are a large corporation, then if you're the likes of a Western Union or a MoneyGram, then you can just simply go up to any Pakistani bank and say, hey, I'd like to sign a partnership, and then they'll send you an agreement, straight away. So that's
Yeah.
been our main, I guess, main pain point, or I guess our main difficulty. The other is, obviously we are a startup. We don't have lots and lots of money to spend, so we have to be careful and we have to be smart and strategic about the way we spend money. Whether it's on advertising, whether it's on product development, and focus on the things that matter most to us. So that's again, that's something that we have to bear in mind as a startup. But overall, for us at least, it's been a great journey so far, and we'll continue, building on this and obviously making our product easier and more accessible for our users.
I just would like to add a few points. Is because we are Pakistanis, we've been born and brought up in Pakistan, so we really understand the mindset and the culture involved in Pakistan. So unlike a multinational company which is coming into Pakistan, they might not enjoy the modus operandi in the Pakistani business circles, but because we understand that we are bit we understand there's a lot of patience required, there's a lot of approvals required, there's a lot of steps. But the good things, we need to appreciate the good things. I mean, we reached out to a lot of like Rasim said, banks and institutions, and we were actually quite impressed with the entities like SECP and OneLink, where they've been very forthcoming and accommodating as well. So we need to appreciate the problems as well as the good response we received as well.
Sorry again. Yeah, it's good if you're getting such support at a startup level. So, adding to that, I want to ask Mr. Ali, if you're focusing on mobile wallets as well, right? We see now Easy Pesa, Jazz Cash. They're very much a lot of people use them, right? Not in just cities; they use in small towns, even in villages, especially Easy Pesa, right? So, will it be possible that a person, let's say, is living in US or UK, can he send money to EasyPesa or JazzCash or other such mobile wallets?
Yes. So right now, our first phase to start is with, as we stated earlier, is with bill payments and utility bills and school fees, etc. That comes in our second phase, where we are currently under negotiations with international regulators such as DFSA and FCA. Once we get their full licenses, that's definitely where we are going. That's the direction we want to take, from P2P payments as well as payments
Yeah.
into wallets. So that's the next stage. I think by quarter 3 this year, we should be in a position to target that market as well. So again, coming back to my earlier point, to make it a one-stop solution for Pakistanis. So whenever an overseas Pakistanis thinks about sending money to Pakistan to help their family or anyone else, they think about Bayfikr.
Okay.
Correct, Kamal. And I'd just like to add that
Yeah.
we've been basically approved by the FCA, so which is the Financial Conduct Authority, the regulator in the UK, to do both bill payments as well as P2P payments. Like Ali mentioned, we are also, basically in the cohort for the DFSA, which is the Dubai Financial Services Authority. And our plan is, like Ali said, launch with bill payments first, because that's a big chunk of what money is sent for. And then obviously P2P payments. So so by the early, by late summer, inshallah, this year, we'll be able to make
Inshallah, yeah.
as well. To not just mobile wallets, or whether it's Jazz Cash or Easy Pesa, but also across any bank account in Pakistan.
Yeah, probably your microfinance banks as well, right? You're probably targeting that as
Absolutely,
well.
absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, so just adding to that, this whole pandemic situation, it has a lot of effect on what we do, on the institutions, on everything, right? So, if Mr. Asim, if you can tell what effect has it on the remittance market, specifically if you talk about in Pakistan?
So, Pakistan has been an amazing story last year. If you recall, when the pandemic, when COVID-19 started last year, the World Bank and all the other major organizations, financial organizations, projected that remittances will fall by anywhere up to 20% year on year all across the world. But Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, and a few other countries have defied all expectations. Like I mentioned, initially State Bank said, okay, maybe 23 billion will be sent in 2020, 2021, but essentially now they're saying 28 billion has been, will be sent.
Okay.
So it's been a remarkable success story for Pakistan, or for remittance, COVID. And there are many reasons for that. Obviously, one of the main reasons is that there's a rise in the use of formal channels and less of informal channels. So, people have stopped using hundi and hawala because there are no flights.
Yeah.
People can't actually physically carry money. So then they're forced to use digital channels. And to give you an example, like MoneyGram and Western Union both have reported a rise in their profits for this year. World Remit, which is a startup focusing on remittances, has seen 150% increase in its payments volumes this year. And the other thing which we basically mentioned earlier was, and what not many people are thinking about, is that a lot of Pakistanis, young ones who are abroad, so like I said, 65% of Pakistani population is less than 35, and they like using mobile phones. So that gives them that convenience. So a lot of the younger demographic prefers using a phone, prefers sending money through a phone, and they don't like to
Yeah.
send money through a hundi or hawala. So yeah,
Yeah, of course.
has been great for Pakistan. Oh, the remittance
Yeah.
market.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's why
So,
we like
yeah.
to call as Pakistanis, and that they have been more resilient in supporting their families in these tough times. So we like to refer to them as our economic superheroes right now.
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah. So, yeah, just extending that, talking again about the remittance market. Recently, we have seen the introduction of Roshan digital accounts, right? So, every major bank has endorsed that. So, I want to know, Mr. Ali, how has it, impacted the remittance market world, and have you seen an increase in remittances because of that?
Yes, so Roshan Digital is a great initiative by the State Bank of Pakistan, and all the banks are involved. It's a fantastic product if you're an overseas Pakistani. So a lot of people I know in the UAE, because I'm based here, have opened Roshan Digital accounts. It has definitely, just because of the fact that people can deposit money and then withdraw as well abroad, that is a huge advantage. Yes, I think we believe that it has increased and it will continue to increase remittances to Pakistan. But we don't see them as a competitor at all, because in our we are only doing bill payments, as well as our sign up process is very simple. We don't require a lot of documentation, which banks do due to the regulatory and compliance reasons. We don't. So yeah, so we see them as a very good product, but not our competition. I think we are a lot of the people who have been in from what I have seen signing up to Roshan digital accounts are the people who are investment savvy, if I can call them that, who know how to invest in the stock exchange, and they know about
Yeah.
securities and T-bills and all those jargon, investment jargon. So a regular Pakistani, an engineer or works in a shop or a random company, is knows how to use a phone, wants to help their family, but not really, the diaspora we're targeting is not the Russian digital diaspora per se, although they can obviously join if they want. But yeah, so we're targeting a slightly different diaspora.
Correct,
Okay.
and now just to add
Yeah.
to that, if you look at the statistics behind Russian digital account, slightly more than 600 million has been deposited into Russian digital accounts, which is fantastic, But up to 80% of this has been in interest-bearing certificates like Naya Pakistan certificates or Islamic banking certificates. So Russian digital account is more of an investment product, whereas Bayfikr, like ourselves, we are more of a payment solution. That's why we don't think of ourselves as competitors to Russian digital account. In fact, we welcome it,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, that sounds good. So yeah, one thing I want to add is that Bayfikr obviously is incubated in National Incubation Center, right? So National Incubation Center, to those who don't know, is a fantastic institute that focuses how to mentor startups, grow them from scratch and provide them with all the opportunities they can to be successful in their journeys. So yeah, just a closing question to both of you. You can answer first, Mr. Ali. uh, what do you see at the future of how do you see the future of remittance market in Pakistan? Do you see as a major player in the economic boost of Pakistan, and how do you see will Bayfikr be a major part of it? So if you can briefly elaborate on that.
Absolutely. So, remittances have always played an integral role in our economy, and they will continue to do so. I think Pakistanis are very talented, and all across the world, the talented Pakistanis are being appreciated, and they have been invited for jobs and higher courses. So, I think with the income segment going to, I believe that the income segment Pakistanis are currently associated with, which is mostly blue collar workers, I think this is going to shift towards entrepreneurship and white collar workers, which is going to again increase the remittances in the future to Pakistan. And yes, I think remittances will continue to play a major role in the Pakistan economy. Our government and our economy relies heavily on the money overseas Pakistanis send to Pakistan. And I believe Bayfikr can be a great resource in channeling these remittances to Pakistan in the future. And we aim to stay for the long term. We aim to serve our Pakistani brethren. And yeah, so I think that's a fair question, and I think remittances are here to stay.
Okay, anything you want to add, Mr. Hassan?
Yes, I mean, like Ali said, almost 8% of Pakistan's GDP is from remittances. And according to the calculations that we've done, about 78 million Pakistanis rely on remittances from their family members abroad. It's and obviously we see a shift in I guess in the demographics or I guess the income stream of remitters who will go abroad from Pakistan or who are already there. We'll see more white collar workers and more entrepreneurs and people who send larger amounts of money into Pakistan and bring value added services. Bayfikr essentially is for everybody. We're class or sector or income agnostic, but we believe our product, caters to everyone. We are here to stay, and obviously we want to. Our target is pretty simple. We are starting from the UK and UAE, but we have plans to go into every major country where there is a sizable Pakistani population. So the likes of Saudi Arabia, the likes of Canada, Australia, USA, some parts of the European Union, because we feel we want to make the lives of overseas Pakistanis easier. And with our product, we think it will be done so. So, yeah.
And just to add that we are Pakistanis, our product is Pakistani. We are not some multinational company, and so we believe in serving our Pakistani brethren, and we don't charge exceptional margins or pricing. Our pricing is very modest, very competitive. So yeah, so Bayfikr will definitely be there in the long term.
Yeah, that's very good. So guys, we get the gist of what Bayfikr is and how they're trying to impact the remittance market in Pakistan. So basically, this is for overseas Pakistanis, and it is just to increase their convenience, right? So they will play a huge part, and hopefully, they will become an integral part of the remittance market in the future, inshallah. So I thank you both, Mr. Ali and Mr. Rasim, for sharing your time with us, and best of luck.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
so much.
Ahmad. Thank you for your time.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Bye, guys.